we gotta work on the Rising Fighter kit. So right now I'm on step 13, doing the rear axles. And it looks like I need these pieces right here. And then I'm also going to need a couple bearings. And let's see, what else do I need besides that? I think that's it. A couple bearings and screw pins. So let's get these cut off. These model snips make life so much easier. Okay. So I've got that. That goes there. Let's get these screw pins out. So we got this longer one is the BA5, and then the shorter ones are the BA6. Like that. So that's that, that's that. I need 2 bearings. One, 2. And what else do I need? B2. Let's see if we can find B2 off the parts tree. What is this? I don't think this is B. No. I think it's these. Looks like these are them. Double check. Yeah, these are B2 right here. These like steering knuckles, I guess. Or I guess this is the rear, so they're not really steering knuckles, but just part of your rear axles. So there's that. All right, so it's showing to grease these up. Hey, good morning. How you doing? Or good evening, depending on where you're checking in from. That is one, and then it shows if you guys are building this, the longer step here faces up. How you doing, Red Killer? It looks like we have inside of here, you'd put in your bearing, and then your little axle piece. That goes like that. And again, we have it facing up. So it goes something like that. Hope you could tell. Once you have that in, you have your, what? Your shorter screw pin going up top and your longer one going on the bottom. Pretty straightforward step, nice and easy. Can you not hear me? Because I'm talking to you. I don't know why there's a question mark. Can you hear me okay? Or is my audio messed up? Do I have to restart this? I don't know. I hope you're able to hear me. If you guys can hear me, type 1 in the chat, just so I know you could hear me. That would be awesome. I'd really appreciate it. Get this longer guy in. No, I'm getting worried that you guys can't hear me. There's no one. I hope you can hear me. I didn't do anything different today, so my audio should be set up. Oh, it just fell out of there. Oh, okay. Never mind. That makes sense. Okay, so we got this one side completed. Spin it nice and freely. Now I just gotta do the same thing on the opposite side. A little bit of grease. Don't need a whole lot for this, I don't think. It's tiny little pieces that need to be greased up. Sure. This goes back where it needs to. There we go. And then place bearing in here. Push that into place. There goes that. Here goes this. There goes this. Motor wire needs to get out of the way, but almost got this step completed. Hey, thank you. I appreciate it. Hope you're having a good day. I don't know where you're checking in from, but it's nice and early here. Can you hear me okay? I don't know if my audio is working great or not this morning. I just want to know, that way I could reconnect if I need to. All right. That is now built on the back, both rear axles. So up next, we're moving on to bag B, parts bag B. That's exciting. Let me try and organize this a little tiny bit. Move that out of the way. Let's see here. Parts bag B, so I need this bad boy. And then we are doing the shocks, or the friction dampers. Let's see if I can find all those parts real quick. There they are. Need these for your friction dampers. And then in B, we need quite a few different things. So, you need your front coil springs. Oh, this bag didn't open correctly. There we go. got these springs for the dampers. I don't know which one's front and rear. Why do they all... I think the front is the smaller one. I'm not 1000%. On the front we have... Does it even mark these like it said it will? Doesn't look like it. So you have these two different sizes. I believe this is F2, the smaller one, which would make sense. And I need, what do we got here? And you also need these little screw pins, smaller one again for the front. And 4 BA8 screws. Two, three, 4. That one's different. And then, so this is a little different. It comes with this little rubber tubing, and that's supposed to help with the dampening, I guess. I don't know. I've never had this in one of my friction shocks, so we'll see how it goes. But essentially, you take your bottom cap, your F4, your spring or your shock, your F2, and that small little screw pin type of thing, which, see if I can line it up better. That drops on through, and that is going to connect obviously to the bottom, right? This part's always a little tricky for me because you have to like screw it in, push it down, and hold. I don't know. It's a little complicated for me typically. I don't know why, but I also have the Japanese standard screwdriver now, and that seems to be making things so much easier than it typically would for me. So I'm happy with that. It seems to be working. Even with these friction shocks, it seems to be doing the trick quite a bit easier than it normally would. It's not all the way down yet, but typically so what I have found, right, is when I'm building my friction shocks, I have better luck doing when I go to install them on the car, I screw it, attach the bottom first, and then I could finish tightening everything down. That's what works well for me. I'm not saying that's the best way to go about it by any means. That's just what I've had success with. So, you know, this one's built pretty well, but I don't have it tightened all the way down. It's close, but it's not 100% there. So I'm just going to get that one set up into the side, and then get everything else I need for the other front shock. Again, I'm going to get it as close as I can, and then I'm going to go in after, because once I build them, I attach them to the front and rear. I could see that as my next 2 steps. So might as well do what I know works best for myself, instead of sitting here struggling with something and then it doesn't work out. Get another one of these rubber pieces snipped. It's probably not the best cut this time around. Try to clean that up a little. The other one wasn't bad, but this one's rough. Hopefully that will do it. Okay, so there's that. Never put my grease cap back on. It's sitting over here on the table leaking out a little bit of grease. So I had to stop and do that for a minute real quick. Yeah, guys, if you're building these Tamiya kits, I highly suggest a Japanese standard screwdriver. It's made my life so much easier. And honestly, I kind of feel like a lot of other RC cars use them that use Phillips, and we just don't know because they don't advertise that. But we'll find out at some point. Oh, that's crazy. This last little piece is almost the exact length I need for a rear one. Just gotta take a little bit off. Yeah, it's got like, there we go. That should be good for the rear. These are honestly coming together a lot easier than when I typically build friction chocks. So I'm very pleased with this right now. A lot of the times that is one of the hardest parts of the build for me. Not really sure why, but it is. Come on. I say that and then I struggle, right? Isn't that always the case? There we go. Got it lined up now. Wow, got that one all the way in. Let me go back to these. Let me see if I could screw them all the way in, because I was just able to do that with that rear one without much difficulty. Maybe I'm just having Good morning. Yeah, see, these ones are harder to like get the fronts. Just because it's, I don't know, something to do with this bottom. It's harder for me to grip it. Yeah. Having issues gripping that one. Oh well. Front or the rear is built almost. Needs a little grease on this rubber tubing, I guess. I don't know how much because, again, I've never used these rubber tubings before, but they drop right in place. And then grab one of these. Okay. Rear damper. Oh, wow. That rubber tubing actually seems to work well. That's pretty cool. Friction shocks. Granted, I haven't driven it yet. I haven't done a drop test yet. Feels nice just by pressing down with my fingers like that. So that's a good sign, I guess. Got to get out more of the rubber tubing because I used the last of that first one. Why didn't I? There we go. Line that up. Now I'm struggling with this one. That's all right. We're about to assemble them, and like I said, it makes things pretty straightforward when you're assembling them to just bottom half first, and then all you got to do is tighten it the rest of the way. So the next step shows attaching the rear dampers. So I need some BB9s, which BB9s. BB9s are these little screws with like that flat piece. Need 4 of those and 4 BB8s for this next step. A little tricky to get these screws out of the bag sometimes. My fingers are too big. Okay, so there's that. I also need the shock tower. which is C2. That looks to be, I believe, yeah, it's this, the bottom one on the parts tree. You could tell it looks quite a bit different. That's the B1, B2. Very different looking. And trying to figure out exactly how this lines up, but yeah, it's right there. So there's like this little lip on here, and there's like a little groove right there on the rear transmission. Hoping you could see that. That's where you take your BA8 screws and you attach a shock tower. Now, I'm just gonna do, I kind of do like a square pattern where I crisscross. Just like working at on an actual car. You know, you're putting on the tires, etc. You kind of go across from one, and you don't want to tighten it all down on one side first. That's just, I don't know if that's just ingrained in me, even though I'm not a mechanic, but that's how I do it. I don't know. Doesn't make it wrong if you're not doing it that way, as far as I know, but that's what I like to do. And then I come back in and tighten them all down once I have them started. Feel like I might need this small guy. It's hard to get in there a little bit. Okay, so that is installed. Then for the rear shocks, you have those BA9 screws that go in this bottom piece. And let's see, they align and it's showing it as this outer hole. I mean, I'm sure you can use either one, right? But the way they have it set up is with this outer one. But I know I've played around with that a little bit on some of my other RC cars. So I guess depending on how you like your ride height, you could adjust that accordingly. So now that I have that installed, that's when I'm gonna tighten this in the rest of the way, because I wasn't able to do that on this rear one. I only was on the other side. Okay, so easy to go that route. Then I've got to grease up this rubber tubing, get that into place. Grab this top section here. Grab a screw. Okay, so that's tightened down, and then you grab another one of these. It is showing going on the inside, I think. Yeah. Right? It's kind of interesting. Outside and then inside, but that's what it's showing. Goes through that way, goes through that way. It actually shows you installing the top half of the rear damper to that shock tower first, and then putting the shock tower on the rear suspension. But yeah, that feels nice. I don't know, I've heard this is a really bouncy car, but like that just feels so good to me for friction shocks. I guess we'll find out when I'm out there driving it. Yes, I don't know. I feel like it's easier to you do whatever's best for you. But for me, I find it easier to attach this bottom portion first, get that all the way screwed in, and then I could do the top. I started the top, I just couldn't get it all the way. But again, if this is your build and you're following along for some tips, I just feel like that's what makes the most sense. For you to do it how you want to do it. And this one does not want to go in. There we go. All right, rear suspension, looking good. I like that. So next step is the front suspension. For that, we've already got the shock towers. So I want to start by screwing in the bottom, because I don't know if you remember or not, I was not able to tighten those all the way where they need to be. So let me get out these BA6 screw pins. You need 2 of those. Those are them. And I need 2 more of these BB9s. There's 1. And Here comes the second one. And now with the rear, or the front, sorry, you also need these little brass tubes. Okay, so there's that. And what it shows is you're going to do the inner screw. On the bottom, the inner one goes right here. So your shock goes in from the top and it goes to the closer one in, which makes sense based off how it's lined up. You're also supposed to grease that little tube. And it goes inside. I don't know if you can see that. You should be able to. So you do that. Place that down to the inner. And then that's where the screw pin goes, is at the bottom. It's a little tricky to line up, but it's not too bad. Okay, got that tightened. I'm gonna go up top and fully finish tightening in my screw for the friction shock. There we go, got that taken care of. A little bit of grease on this tube. Drop it down into place. Grab your BB9, I think it is. Oh wait, don't grab your BB9 because I have to fully install this. Getting ahead of myself a little bit there. Okay, now you could grab your BB9, and for this one it shows I don't even know if I went about this the right angle. This picture's not the best. I think I did, because that's curled up, so I think so. And showing the top one, which makes sense, given how short the front of these friction springs are, the fronts. All right, got that. Now we gotta get the other side. Guys, this build is coming along so nicely. I really am glad that I got this for my birthday. What an awesome birthday gift this has turned out to be. Is that lined up right? I don't know what it is about the holiday buggy. When I first saw this kit, I was like, why would anyone want that? That was my initial impression of this kit. And now, I feel like I'm falling in love with it. In person, it looks really good. It's an easy, fun build. And I don't know, it just seems very nice. But a few user errors yesterday on my live, but eventually we got those squared away. And once that was done, I mean, it's been smooth sailing. Again, a lot of times I struggle with building friction shocks, and I'm just cruising along. It's usually the shocks and the gearbox are always what cause me the biggest headaches. And those are both completed now. Oop. I almost got the fronts installed. Front shocks are installed. Feeling nice. Those rubber gaskets are very interesting. I don't know, I keep coming back to those. It makes them feel really nice. Oh, I'm leaking grease. Quite a bit. There we go. What's next? Attaching the battery cover. Here is the chassis itself. Got to figure this all out a little bit. We've got a couple BA8s, 3 by 10 millimeters. Where are you? Right here. 1, 2. Need 4 of those. I need, what is this? I need a piece of sponge, it says. Cutting sponge. Interesting. I don't think I've seen that before. This piece of sponge, where does it go? Cutting sponge. I honestly don't know where this goes. I think it goes up here somewhere, but I don't know why. That's a little confusing to me. Yeah, it goes. So up front, at least I think that's the front, might be the rear. I don't know. Up here on the chassis, this little sponge peels down and goes there, which is weird because it only fits on one side. And that's what was throwing me off, is because I didn't see like the full picture. In the picture, it cuts off one of the sides. I have no idea why that sponge goes there. But there you go. Got my cutting sponge, it says. No idea. Let's see. I've got to find another parts tree. I think this is it. Is this D? I don't even know if this is D or not. I know this is partially what I need. I know it's got this battery tray, I think. No, this is M. So all that's in here is this battery tray piece. It's kind of weird that they have that separate. Okay. So we got that. And then I've got to find D3 and D4. Need 2 D3s, 1 D4. Surprised again that it's not on this part tree, but we'll find it. What's here? And in here. What is this? That's bag A. What's this? No, that's what I was just on. Not that, not that. Let's see. N. Not that. I already have it out here somewhere. I guess that's possible. Is that on here? Is this D? D. Here we go. All right, so I need 2 D3s, 1 D4. That's your D4. It's like flat with a little knob sticking up. And then this little round guy here is a D3. Again, there's 2 of those. Okay, so that takes care of that, I believe. So your D3s go right here. It is on the front, or the portion of the chassis that has this longer stem sticking out. And you're going onto the, I guess, innermost of the 4 little spots where you can attach a screw. Let's see. I don't know if there's a proper way. Yeah. So this battery tray, those lines go down. Okay. And basically it's going to look like this. You put your D3s onto that M8 portion. You screw it in and lines up nice and easy. You're going to screw those on. And then you've got a spot for your D4 to screw on the opposite side. I don't know if it matters which side you do first. I just started it this way. Okay. So D4, there's only one spot it could go on the chassis. There's those 2 holes I'm gonna line that up. Get your screws on. All right, so that is the battery tray. Nice and easy. It also shows, you know, you put a like body clip right here. Hey, I'm doing pretty great. How are you? The build is coming quite along. We've got front end assembled, rear end assembled, right? Just went ahead and installed the body tray. Up next, like, I am getting pretty far. So I'm on step 18 next, which I'm gonna call possibly my next live, I think, based off timing. I don't want to get into something that I basically finished a section. Up next is building my servo, right? Getting the electronics squared away. So have to connect all the electronics, servo, ESC, and receiver. Get that built, you know, get it centered. That way my steering is accurate. Do the steering rods. Pretty much once steering is set up, you go ahead and install the servo, D and receiver. Then you attach the gearbox. Do any fine tuning on those steering linkages. Put the wheels and tires on. And that's the body. Putting on decals. It is very close to being built. You know, I get an hour or so to go live a day before work. I imagine in my next live, I'll probably, it'll either be Monday or Tuesday next week. I'm pretty sure I'll get everything done except for the decals on the body and painting the driver figure. I think everything else I'll be able to complete in my next live. That stuff all moves pretty quick. But you never know. I might have 2 more lives in me. Or I guess 3 more, right? I'm counting on a live for putting all the decals on the body. These bad boys right here. I don't know. I feel like I gotta paint this, but I don't have the paint for it, so I don't know. I have some paint, but I don't have like a skin color paint. Yeah, we're gonna see how that goes. I'll probably just do the steering wheel and his shirt. Call that a win on here. And then, you know, like I said, installing ESC, servo, receiver, onto the chassis, and then installing the front and rear suspension, or the rear gearbox, front suspension, and it's basically built, which is absolutely crazy to me. I could kind of give you a preview of what that's going to look like. Hold on, give me a minute. I'm going to line it up correctly. It's a little tricky to line up this front portion. Maybe it goes like that underneath. I don't know. Probably goes underneath. I haven't looked that far ahead, but yeah, it is almost built. It's crazy. It's looking like an RC car. So I'm really excited about that. All right, guys, I do need to go and take care of my dog, I guess. He's pretty sick right now. Probably has to get put down in the next week. And I just need to make him some food, right? I have to boil him some chicken so it's nice and easy on his stomach while he's hanging in there with us. And after that, I have to start work. So great live, guys. We made a lot of progress. Again, I'll be finishing this up Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday of next week, depending on how things go. But it will 100% be built next week, which is awesome. Super excited for that. Have a great weekend, guys. Take care.